The following is brought to you by the Starfleet Podcast Network, SPN, The Spin. I dabbled in Linux and tried to really get into Linux, and I found myself wanting to make Linux as much as Windows as possible. And then I kind of got to a point where it was like, why don't I just go back to using Windows? I mean, I never fully adopted it, but it just dawned on me, okay, why am I trying to turn Linux into Windows when I could just use Windows? Hey, it's Big J, and in just a moment, I'll be presenting you with Klingon Krampus, a Star Trek fan film from HarrisFilm Productions. Afterwards, please join our Critical-not-Cynical review for our discussions and reactions to the film. Without further ado, here's Klingon Krampus.
Personal log. Commander Marsh speaking. Today I record a log about, of all things, a human tradition. One known as Christmas. A time of joy, they say. But I have found something in this celebration that resonates with the heart of a Klingon warrior. There is this character known as Krampus. A punisher of the wicked and the misbehaving. A demon who separates the worthy from the unworthy. Yes, this Krampus, he knows what it means to be a warrior, to feel the thrill of victory. In this strange holiday, I find a connection to our Klingon ideals. And so, this tree I have decorated with blades and warrior-themed decorations. It symbolizes not only Christmas, but the spirit of a Klingon warrior. Krampus understands what it is to be a warrior. The thrill of battle, the joy of victory. To Krampus, the true warrior's holiday. And so, on this Christmas, I will also raise my glass to all my Klingon kin on Kronos. May your victories be swift, and may your enemies tremble at your feet. Kapla!
Welcome back to another edition of Critical-not-Cynical. I am Big J, here with V-Man and our special guest, Steve Harris from HarrisFilm Productions, and Mike Locklear, who is the star of Klingon Krampus that you just finished watching. And I've got to tell you, that was a pretty cool little film. I like that. A Klingon's like a Klingon Christmas show, which was nice. You guys got to tell me, where did this idea come from?
Well, I was in a mood around Christmas time. I was like, it doesn't seem like Christmas, and it's more like being in a mirror universe or something, or living in with a Klingon. And then it popped in my head, what would a Klingon be attracted to during Christmas time? Krampus. Why not? Because he's like, a real warrior, and he makes sure those are the punished that need to be punished, and that kind of a thing. So wrote a little thing up and sent it to Mike, and he's like, wow.
So you were instantly sold on that script?
Mike?
I was actually. I was like, I think I can do a lot with this. There's some fun character stuff you could insert here. What kind of Klingon would it take to get interested in Krampus? He'd have to be a little out of the ordinary, but I feel like, our favorite and most endearing Klingon characters have been the ones that broke the mold just a little bit in one way or another.
Now, was this something that you like? How did it come across, Steve, that you had found Mike? Do you cosplay as a Klingon, or was this something that you went out and bought a Klingon costume, or how did this come about that he approached you?
Yeah, Mike,
Um,
tell your side of the story there.
So I was working with NerdTube, as I often do, and we did a fan film reaction to a HarrisFilm project, I believe.
Yeah.
And you saw our reaction video, and you saw just my look and said that you thought I would make a good Klingon, and you reached out to me and said basically that. And I was like, I guess I can piece together a Klingon costume. I used to act back in high school, and it'd be fun to kind of go back to that a little bit. And it's been a very enjoyable experience, I must say.
No, you definitely sell the part. You got the look, you got the manner. You definitely sell the part. I got to say that's one thing that I think these fan films they give us all the ability to jump right in and live our childhood imagination. I like it. You sell it well, my friend. You do a good job.
You did. You settled into it pretty well. It really felt like it was a natural thing for you. And I've seen you play that part. Now, have you done that character in other films? Is that a recurring character for you, or was that the first time? Or has that been the only time so far?
We're working on it. He is a recurring character. Yes.
Nice.
Kind of like Cisco.
Yes. Good. Yes. I'll take that.
So there might be a crossing of paths here, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very interesting. You certainly got my attention peaked now.
Now he wants the script.
Because I'm wondering,
Sorry.
I want to see how the wheels are rolling there, Steve, in regards to that, because I think that's going to be a very creative confrontation there, for lack of better words, or interaction.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think that would be certainly pretty interesting.
Don't want to give a lot away, but
right.
There's some things going on in Task Force 78's area near the Klingon border that are just not normal, and that involves Klingons and Orion pirates and our task force, and
nice,
even some outside characters once in a while.
Okay.
So, Mike, you talk about the Klingons. Some of our favorite Klingons that kind of outside the box that are our favorites, broke the mold. What were some of your inspirations, Klingon-wise? Did you kind of lean more toward the original series Klingons for inspiration, or was it more next-gen DS9 era Klingons, or the wonderful Discovery era Klingons for your inspiration? Like what Klingons were your inspiration, or did you kind of lean toward a variety of?
I like to think that I brought a wide variety from all eras kind of together, but the number one influence was definitely be Martok. General Martok informed a lot, kind of the voice and the delivery that I go for. I can't keep up the intensity of that for the entire performance, but that what watered down, I wouldn't say watered down, but the sustainable version of that is kind of what gets brought for the Klingon voice when I can manage the performance.
Well, the good thing about Martok, and I've met JJ Heltzer in real life, and he's very much that way, and it makes you appreciate the performance even more when you meet him. Is he's the character of Martok is basically like your grumpy uncle that you're like, well, he just happens to be a Klingon, and once you look at it from that perspective, you're like, fuck yeah, I like this is kind of cool. Like, he's just a grumpy uncle who can go kick some ass. So I like that, because you see Worf, he doesn't really have a sense of humor. He's this proud man, and Martok's the same way, but he's just, again, your grumpy uncle doesn't mind having a blood wine, from time to time, and that's cool. Like, I think Martok's a great inspiration for a performance. He's a real person instead of this, great warrior who is, everything's a moment. Martok's not. He's just a person who happens to be in those moments. So I think that's great for inspiration. So So, Steve, is there any Klingon Krampus 2 coming next year for Christmas or
we
other
haven't really
holidays?
decided. We haven't decided about that yet, but definitely the character. And how do you pronounce his name there, Captain? Maj?
Yeah, Maj.
Maj is a recurring character. I kind of think of him as the scrappy stepchild of someone, who's carrying the weight of his family name,
Right.
and he may not look as tough as his XO or some of his security guys, but by gosh, they are afraid of his name.
So there's going to be something behind
they
it.
really think he's going to beat their butt or not. This guy is somebody to look out for. He's got political maneuverings and the family name going for him, if nothing else, right, Mike?
Yeah, the good family name. We decided Core, correct?
Yes.
House of Core. Yeah.
And you've got a new baldric that you're working on with that family emblem on it, right?
I'm trying to get the baldric together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a process getting the costume assembled to kind of look as best as I can manage to get a TOS era type Klingon outfit going.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So the character is tied to Core from the original series and reprised role in DS9.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Okay, Core was the one played by John Colicos.
Calicos, yeah.
Who was also in Battlestar Galactica. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's, if there was any Klingon to pick to be from a particular house, I think that's a good one. If anything, because that character, I liked his change from the Klingon he was in the original series, then how he was depicted in DS9 was just very much a fuck it, let's have some blood wine kind of, like every place can be a party sort of thing.
Character development,
Yeah, he let loose somewhere in there in the time between TOS and DS9, and the kind of Klingon that's like, yeah, I could hang out with this guy, which is pretty cool. So I think if there's any house that has an interesting dynamic to be tied to, it's that one. So that was a good choice to make there. And so of course that name is part of what's going to make that character. I think if I can predict where you're going with the character development, when you say the name behind that person is yeah, that's a pretty good house to be a part of. There was a question I had. It's one of the technical things because I kind of like the technical parts of the fan film and the filming in regards to how it looks, how it was shot. And one of the things I noticed that I thought was pretty interesting, there was a scene, and I can't recall exactly what scene it was, but I knew you weren't where you were in regards to whether it was the holodeck or by the tree, but it seemed like the lighting really, like, it seemed like it interacted with the character and with you there, Mike, physically. How was that pulled off? I'm sure there was a green screen there, but it looked like you were really, like, I could see the, like the same color of the reflection, which you really pulled off well. How could you tell me about that part?
Sounds like that would be
lighting. Yeah.
The work of Kenneth Mays, just working with there's
a team over here that does some compositing for us. Had some trouble getting the actual backgrounds that I wanted, so had to resort to AI there for some of those background graphics, which kind of disappointed me because Kenneth does such a great job, but he was too busy working on some other projects. And, that's not a problem. We went ahead and did it this way, got the project done before Christmas, and it turned out okay. But yeah, it's the composite process, Jefferson, the composite artist who wishes not to be mentioned by name at this point, decided to do his magic matching the way that the lighting was with the background. And I don't know how he does that. I'm barely grasping at straws to get a real green screen going into a composite shot. When I do the composite shot, you could tell I've done it. Okay. I mean, it's not perfect. It's you may see a little glow around the edges or something, but I mean, it's good enough for a test print kind of a thing to show somebody what we're going for. But as an instructional type video for the actual composite artist to fix. But when it comes for that, the composite artist at HarrisFilm who was working on that project did a fantastic job. Thank you.
And that is, yes, and please extend my compliments to that person, because to get a green screen background to physically interact with the actor to make it look like that's that little extra taste right there that makes these films stand out, is when you go that far to do that. Because of course you can have a great looking background and something that looks clean and whatnot, but for it to appear to interact with the actual person in such a way that you could almost believe for a second that's a real place that person was at. I know it's not, but it almost looks like it could have been, because that background is actually interacting with them. So yes.
I've been blown away by a lot of the stuff that our guys are doing.
How long did it take you guys to film this after they got the script and the whole 9 yards, and they started, from pressing button 1 to final clip done? How long did it take you guys to film this?
Mike, tell us about the filming schedule, and then I'll do the rest.
So my lovely wife Leanne helped with the filming. She was the person behind the camera. We did a couple of test runs, and making sure that I had the shot as close as to what I would like it to be as we could get, and less than an hour, probably 45 minutes to an hour all told.
Yeah. And after that, when he sent me this stuff, it took me a day or two to get around to actually looking at the video and saying, oh, okay, well, now I have to decide what kind of a background to go for, because the one I had chosen wasn't available. So it took me about a week to get the backgrounds together. It took me about another week to get the composite artist on board, coordinating who was available and that kind of a thing. So in all, it took about a month. It was around the 22nd of November or so. It was right before Thanksgiving that we started, that I wrote it, sent it to Mike. He filmed it. We did the test shots, and he filmed it. And then the rest of it was all in-house at HarrisFilm. And that's what takes so long, is I also had to edit it. So we've got more than one project going at the same time. So there might be an editor working on 2 other projects at the same time. And if I want something out yesterday, I may have to do it myself. No big deal. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I think we pulled it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike, you say this is you filmed with your wife. She's the one that did the camera work. I know, working on Constar, the motion picture, she helped you on that one as well. It's got to be a lot of fun for you working on these projects, because I know, working with Royce, it's a lot of fun getting to do these. Like, those are kind of fun memory moments, doing those things. Is it the same thing working with her, making these films, getting 45 minutes here, 30 minutes there with her? Or is it fun like it is with me and Royce, getting to work with her on these projects?
It is, and I'm lucky to have somebody that's so incredibly supportive and willing to, work with me on it, and just take time out of her day. And she's disabled. She has like a lot of pain issues and stuff, and so to just even stand there at the tripod and make sure that everything's right and hit the button, it's a pretty big sacrifice, and it's one that I don't take lightly. And if you're watching this, thank you and love you, honey.
Yes, thank you, Leanne. You're a big part of HarrisFilm, and I appreciate your help.
And that's the thing. Like, not a lot of people, like most people, don't realize the time that goes into making a fan film, even a small fan film like this one, because this was a really short film.
About 3
I was
minutes.
surprised. I was surprised when Steve sent this one to me. But it was a very charming film. But the time and work that goes into even a short film, people don't realize the time that goes into it. But those are the memories that you make when you're doing, shooting for 45 minutes or shooting for an hour, or hell, even just a short cameo for someone else's film. Like, those are the things that, you laugh, or you joke, or then you make an inside joke with whoever's filming with you. Those are kind of the fun times, or the silly little goofs that you do. It's like those are the fun memories. And they're building treasures for someone else. Who wouldn't necessarily do that otherwise. Because not a lot of people would do that for someone else. So to your wife, Mike, she's a blessing, because watching you guys go back and forth, she's awesome. So,
and that is great to be able to do something like that with a family member, spouse, significant other, or whatever it may be, because that gives you the chance to include someone in on your hobby, which you can have that same hobby of liking Star Trek, maybe watching Star Trek together, but now there's this other part where you're doing a film, and that person is able to have a way to participate in that as well, which is just as important as anything else. So that's great that you're able to have that.
I try to make her feel involved in all the projects I do, really, as much as she wants to be. She, helps with my game streams too. She's supportive of the episode reviews and podcasts with NerdTube. Just, you're absolutely right, V-Man. She's a blessing. And you're right, Jeff. It's just lucky to have somebody like that.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the game streaming. I'd like to, for our audience, to be able to hear a little bit more about that. So you can talk about what you do with your gaming channel, promote that, and just educate us a little more on it.
Oh, well, it's Major Rage TV on YouTube and Twitch. I play mostly kind of old school retro Japanese role-playing games. Stuff like Final Fantasy 1, Wild Arms, do some remakes of stuff like that. World of Warcraft, so if gaming, and oftentimes Trek nerds like gaming. If that sounds like it's up your alley, please check me out.
Do you do any of the Star Trek games, or kind of stay away from that, to really have a separation between the Star Trek hobby and the gaming hobby?
I've never found a Trek game that I really, really enjoyed, and I kind of have like a nostalgia theme kind of to the channel. But
there's so many. I'm surprised to hear that.
But there's with the Trek games, it's more accurate to say there's so many bad ones. There's not a lot of great ones.
Sure.
That was the thing when I got into the Trek games. Like, I would buy them religiously, but I never enjoyed them. I think Star Trek Armada was the first real one that I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. And then I modded it with Battle Stations 4.3, and that was fucking epic. It was great. Like, that was the first thing that made me modify a game, and I understood how to do that with upgrading the shields and taking damage to more stuff. And then we got Species 8472, more Defiant class stuff. I was like, this is great. But like, Trek games are always hit or miss. So to those people who are like, I don't want to try Trek game, like, I certainly understand why nobody would want to, because they're always just kind of like, meh.
Star Trek Online is pretty steady. I mean, that's been pretty good and solid.
I've heard that.
Since it, let's see, that came out. I had it the first day it came out. I want to say this was 2000. 2008. Yeah, something like 2008, 2009. I'd have to look it up, but I had it since day one. I haven't played it in a while. I kind of have these phases where I'll play for a couple weeks or so and then not get back to it for several months, maybe a year, and go back again. And it's a game that I like, and I don't know why I don't stay up on it more. It's probably because there's other stuff I want to play, and I've got this bad habit where I can get good at a game, but then I can't play anything else at the same time, especially if it's two games that use a controller or two games with a similar mouse and keyboard setup, because I get sloppy. Like, it's just you can get good at learning the controller scheme and everything else, but then you start mixing in other stuff and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not doing so well on this. And I just know to get back into Star Trek Online and to be good at it again would probably take a week or so of dedication playing. It's like, oh my God, my toolbar, there's all this stuff.
What are my keybinds?
Right. Yeah, I forgot all my keybinds. And which ship was I using before? Oh, that one. Okay, and I've got all these. And so yeah, but it's for anyone out there that's looking for a decent Star Trek game to play, really Star Trek Online is where it's at. That's been a very solid game for quite some time now. So definitely recommend checking that one out. Steve, do you do any gaming? Any Star Trek gaming?
No, I'm with classic gaming, like the old Judgment Rights from Windows 3.1 or 95 days, So yeah, I don't. Once you got all these extra cheat codes and F5 does this, and forget it. I'm just too much. Oh, hey, XO, take over.
So you're not going to do any modding? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, the modding that I do is in the older games like Doom or Wolfenstein or something like that.
Wolfenstein, there you go, baby. There you
go. But that's what I do.
There you go.
When I'm playing a game, it's one of those. They're free now, Yeah. And I use Linux almost exclusively. So
you do?
Download, yes. At Linux Mint OS, it's a 21.3 right now. It's a long-term service. It lasts for 5 years with updates before you have to reload and do a new, hard drive or whatever. And sometimes you can even patch it and go to the next thing. So, hey, and it kind of looks like Windows 95 setup with the bar on the bottom and the Windows key is a Linux key, pops up and that kind of stuff. So it's easy to convert former Windows users to that, and everything's free. So
I dabbled in Linux. This was way back, especially when I was back in school. I had gone back to school to get my associates in computer networking. So this was the in 2000. I was there 2007, 2009, and tried to really get into Linux. And I found myself wanting to make Linux as much as Windows as possible. Yeah. And then I kind of got to a point where it was like, why don't I just go back to using Windows? I mean, I never fully adopted it, but it just dawned on me, okay, why am I trying to turn Linux into Windows when I could just use Windows?
Right.
And it was cool at the time. I get it. I can see the allure of it, but for me, it's not something that I was able to really grab onto and hold. I was too much of a Windows guy by that point, and even more so now. So
even DaVinci Resolve works in Linux, so I'm able to actually do some editing in Linux. I prefer to use another program that's only in Windows, and that's my Achilles heel right now. I was trying to completely convert over to Linux OS. It's just not happening right now.
Right. There's always going to be that thing that kind of
holds you right back. One holdout program that you have to use.
Yes. There's always going to be that one.
It's the same with Mac guys,
Yeah.
Well, guys, I got to head back to work, so I'm going to let you go. So,
okay,
Steve,
it was nice seeing you.
You too, man. And Mike, it was good talking to you, brother. Have a good rest of your night, all right, guys?
Thank you. Thank you. Great to see you as always.
You too.
Yes, good to see you. You take care.
Thanks for everything you do for us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So can you guys share with us what's in the future in regards to more collaborations and interactions between the two of you? Anything that you can say that's not going to be a spoiler or give too much away. And you know, for some reason, I don't know why, but a Thanksgiving episode popped into my head. I don't know where it would go or what it, but I see.
I probably do that. You know,
what's the Klingon's name
what
again?
Kind of a turkey the Klingons would eat,
right.
and would it be alive?
Turkey and batleth and cutting a turkey.
No, he gets a turkey to kill it for Thanksgiving, but befriends it and decides to make the turkey a pet.
Reminds me of my dog when I was a lad.
Write it. There it is. Film it.
Written by Jefferson Kelly.
Written by Jefferson Kelly. Produced by HarrisFilm Productions.
There you go. Starring
That is
Mike Locklear.
Turned a turkey into a pet. Let's see. Where can we find a live turkey? Shouldn't be
I'm right here.
Difficult, right? Oh man, it just wrote itself.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened with the last one, really.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you know, what about this? And I talked to him about it, and he's like, whoa, I'm excited to see this.
Oh, and using the bird of prey Christmas decoration, that was genius. It was like a blink and you'll miss it, but I saw it. It was there and then had a close up.
I've adorned this thing with batleths and Klingon knives.
And see, that's the thing is, it was I didn't take it as a comedy,
right?
But it was
somewhat
like
satirical,
very humorous Klingon episode. It's kind of like Klingons can be some of the funniest people without being comic relief.
Yeah.
There's a scene in a DS9 episode. I don't recall the name of the episode, but I think it was the one where Worf and Jadzia, they were in a runabout. And I think it crashed. It was the one where what's that?
Was Core on the ship?
It was just Worf and Jadzia. I remember Jadzia said something to him, and Worf sat there for a minute. He said, "That was a joke. I get it. It's not funny. I get it." And that was just to me, that delivery. Everything Worf says is just gold. Yeah. Especially this past season of Picard season 3. Worf is one of those characters. He doesn't have to talk much, but when he does, it's gold.
It is.
Like every phrase. And I can see that with this character is kind of he's not being
tongue in cheek, you know.
Yeah, it's very tongue in cheek. Like, you know, anything said is meant in the most seriousness of the character's delivery, but it's just written that it's humorous. You can really get behind it.
Mike is not afraid to let you laugh. Okay. Right. We know you're not laughing at Mike. You are laughing at the delivery, the way that the character is thinking.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not being somebody making fun of Mike or somebody making fun of the Klingon. It's trying to reconcile your mind as somebody in the Federation with the way this guy's thinking, you know? And it comes out a little bit satirical, a little bit humorous, but he's serious.
And that's what I've really got to give you kudos on, Mike, is the delivery.
Exactly.
The delivery is what really makes it. Like you are not trying to be funny. You're not trying to deliver Star Trek V Klingon humor, right, which is not the way to go. The way your delivery is going, and is that something that just kind of came natural? Is it something you really had to work on? How were you able to get that delivery the way that you've got it, because it works?
The delivery kind of was forged in working with the guy who shot my initial test shots for HarrisFilm. And
that was about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the delivery was forged, and so he doesn't wish to be named either, but big thanks to him for the help with that. But it didn't take a whole lot of time, but there's just a dichotomy with his attitude towards humans and human things that drives the delivery.
He doesn't like humans, but now that I think about it, this Christmas has something.
Right.
Everything that the humans, the government tells me humans are all bad, but what about this?
Right. Yeah.
And that's the character. He may be surrounded with hard-nosed Klingons around him, but he's his own man, and he's in charge. Blast it, you better pay attention. I grab my knife and stab you in the heart in a moment because you're not following my orders.
I could really tell that there was a firm grasp on the character that seemed like it happened pretty quickly. So whether that was maybe luck in writing, or it was a good match for a character. I mean, you may take the same script, modify it, and you are a Ferengi or a Romulan or something else, and it may not fit. It just may not click, and then you struggle with that, and it doesn't come off the right way. Whereas maybe you were born to be a Klingon. Who knows? You never know that until you get into it. It's kind of like with Frank. He's born to play a Romulan as his non-Grissom character.
Yeah.
So you never know. You never know what that hidden character is that you have in there.
And I have to say, Mike, it's a compliment. When I saw you on the screen that first time back in March a year ago or so, and I said, "That's a Klingon. That's the guy I want." Now, I'll make it clear that we lost Steve Atwell about a year ago, and Steve and I had been talking about the stuff that I wanted to do, and he gave me some advice on a couple of things, a couple of ideas for the stories, and he was going to be the Klingon commander if he could, get healthy enough and put his costume on. We were going to work out how to get a green screen and all this stuff done, and then, of course, unfortunately, he passed away. But he was one of my inspirations for what Mike is doing. Okay. I know that if you look at Steve Atwell and you look at Mike, they're not the same.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that Mike's character is not the Steve Atwell character inside. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's a compliment to both of you, Steve and you, Mike, because I think, you knew Steve, and I mean, you didn't meet him or anything. I've never met him either, but we talked online a lot. And I think that's really the magic that came together, was the inspiration from Steve Atwell, the stuff that we were preparing, and then this inspiration to do a Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like you said, I was thinking about Thanksgiving, but I didn't get it done. And then Christmas came up, and we did this. I had screen tests of Mike doing the Klingon character, and his costume was coming together. So I said, let's try it. And I'm telling you, Mike, it's magic.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely something to be mined there with Thanksgiving. I feel it. I can just feel it. There is something there.
I would be more than happy to shoot another, holiday special. I love entertaining people, putting a smile on the face. And so laugh at me if that's how you get your smile. I'd laugh at me, with me, however. It's just as long as you're laughing.
Yes, it could be very humorous, because just that serious take on Earth holidays, like, why is Christmas a thing? Maybe I like it. Thanksgiving. There's all kinds of holidays that who knows what made it through into the 23rd century and beyond. There's, in canon, Christmas is still a thing. It's been mentioned a couple times.
So it's Thanksgiving, because Kirk says, I want my turkeys to look like real turkey. remember, in Charlie X? And they called him back and said, "Sir, we got real live turkeys running around in the kitchen."
Yeah. So that's there is precedent. It's not too far of a stretch.
Yeah.
Well, what I'd like to do, because you brought up I think a great point that I'd like for us to close on, unless you guys have further thoughts, but we do have a video that I would like to show for our audience watching. If you're just listening, you will only be able to hear it, but it's the farewell to Steve Atwell. So we have that as well that I'm going to be showing here at the end. But before I do that for our audience, Steve, Mike, do you guys have any closing thoughts in regards to Task Force 78 film Klingon Krampus?
No, I appreciate everybody's help and support, especially after we finished the production. It's not been embraced by hundreds of thousands of people yet, but I think once people actually notice it, they're going to start swapping it around again. And by Christmas time, it's going to be a thing.
It's going to be like the Star Wars holiday special. This is going to be the Star Trek holiday special. It will be this one. Well, thank you guys very much for taking out the time to sit here with me and talk about this film. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure that we're going to be sitting down again together, talking about your films and your collaborations together. I definitely want to see more of this character from you, Mike. I think it's great. Look forward to anything else that you're going to have coming up. Definitely check out the Twitch channel to see some gaming, which is very cool. So what we're going to close out here with is the video farewell to Steve Atwell. Thank you.
We are Beyond Trek Podcast. Lower your inhibitions and surrender your ears. We will add inspirational and hilarious Trek content to your day. Your attention will adapt to subscribe to us. Resistance is futile.
If you enjoyed this podcast, you can support us at patreon.com/beyondtrek.